Hey guys, today I wanted to show you a few things. One is, oh, by the way, you want to tell me your name?
I'm Chloe. I'm
Uh,
Cassidy.
so these are two of my daughters. One more is out on a stroll. I think she's asleep. And my wife's walking around. So, the few things I wanted to show you, let me go ahead and get this screen so that you can see it. Um, okay, so one is uh, at this point in the year, a lot of people start to run out of ideas, and they'll just sit and look at a blank screen and say, "I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do." That is not uncommon. Join the club. That happens to all of us. And so here's an example. Here's how we feel sometimes. This is us. This is lack of creativity, just squeezing the life out of us. Um, Popeye he used spinach, and then he was able to do whatever he wanted to do. And so spinach for us, I call it brain food. It is when you get inspiration, you get your creative juices going. That's what kind of breaks down the writer's block. And so to do that, what you do is on your computer, just make a folder that says examples or stuff I like or inspiration, something like that, and go and find websites like impawards.com. It's for International Movie Poster Awards.com, and every movie poster from the past probably 50 years is on there. And you can just scroll down. When you see one that you're interested in, hey, this looks interesting, just click it, and you can see a bigger version. And then if you click it a second time, you can see an even more enlarged version and see the details and things like that. And if you'll start saving things like this to that folder, um, eventually there's no reason to not be able to come up with new ideas. You can, build off of someone else's idea. We don't make ideas in a vacuum. They don't just usually fall out of a tree and hit us on the head. Usually we go look for them. And so go look at websites like this. There are many, many others similar. What's that website that everybody does? Pinterest. Pinterest. Just type in graphic design. Google, type in graphic design and see what ideas they have. But this particular one is impawards.com, International Movie Poster Awards.com. And there are so many options. They also have television show posters. And again, just scroll down until you see one that looks somewhat interesting, and then you can click it and see a much enlarged version of it. So there's that. One that I came across when I was looking was this. I liked how the lady turned into birds, and it's hard to even know where the birds begin and the lady ends. It just sort of happens fluidly. And so to do that kind of thing, let me slide this out of the way. We begin with just a silhouette, and I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to take Batman, get rid of some bats inside him, and add bats to him so it looks like he's becoming bats. And so here's a silhouette of Batman, and here is a silhouette of a bat. And I have them on two different layers, so they're editable separately. So the bat, I don't want to be stuck on the same layer with Batman. And then I use the magic wand tool. It'll select any solid color. So I just select the bat, and I'll hide it so you can see there's the little marching ants going around. And all I have to do now is go to Edit and down to Define Brush Preset. Edit, Define Brush Preset. And it's going to make a brush of this bat. I can name it if I want to. Bat. And click OK. And that's it. So if I go to Select, Deselect, I can get the selection removed. And I'm going to make a new blank layer with nothing on it. And go up to our brush that we just made. Here's the problem. Of course, it's going to stamp whatever color I tell it to. Right now, it's not showing the shape of it, so I hit the caps lock button, and it shows me the shape. If I hit caps lock again, it goes away. Caps lock again, comes back. It's going to paint them red right now. The problem is when I click and drag it downward, that is not the way that a flight of a bat looks. It looks like tire tread. So let me hit Command Z and step backward a few times. Instead, I'm going to go up to the brush and make it a little smaller and then go to the brain of the brush, which is this folder right here. Because right now, even though it's smaller, it still does the tire tread. If I click on the brain of the brush right here in the top left, I have a lot of options, and I only use about 3 or 4 of them frequently. One is spacing. The bat, I need to space it out so I can tell what it is. You see? Can you see how it's different bats now?
I think that's good.
That's good. Okay. The next one down is shape dynamics. Don't just click the box. Instead, click the words, and it changes the stuff on here. If I just click the boxes, nothing changes. If I click the word, it goes to the levers and things like that. So where it says shape dynamics, I want the size jitter up because that means some bats will be larger and some will be smaller. Otherwise, they're all uniform. They're all the same size. So I want the size jitter up pretty high. Where it says angle jitter, I want that up because the bats, I don't want them all the same angle. Because how do bats fly, Chloe? Pretty crooked. And then if I go down to scattering, I want to make that go up because I want some higher and some lower and things like that. I could go back to brush tip shape, the very, very top one, and I could make it where the spacing is different now, just based on the way I have it until I'm happy. And okay, here's the thing. So this brush, it will work fine now, but if I don't save it, it'll forget about it later. And so what I want to do is go up to the brush and tell it right here, the little plus sign, tell it to save this brush. This one is naming it Bat 1. I'm just going to rename it Bat Scatter. So we still have the previous one that is like, let me hit caps lock to show my brush. If I click and drag downward, we still have that one. But now also I have the second one called Bat Scatter, right? And
you can change it to black, right?
Oh yeah, we can change it to black. I don't like how spread apart they are. I think I'd rather them be a little closer. So let me go back in to the brain of the brush tool and tell it where it says scattering. Maybe don't scatter quite so much. Let's try it like that. And one thing we can do to begin with, we'll paint it black in just a minute. But on the layer that has the Batman, the baby's coming in asleep, we can click on the eraser. You see the eraser tool? And it's going to ask me, what eraser do I want? I'm going to go down, guess which eraser I want? The very last one, the bat scatter one. So we're going to erase into, oh dear. That didn't, let me try this one more time. Let me make it black to start with, and then we'll try that bat scatter one more time. All right, on a new separate layer, I'm just going to make them flutter. I like them to be the thickest where it touches Batman, and then it gets thinner and thinner as it goes out. Does that make sense? Like that? Maybe like that. But now we want the bats to disappear from inside him, right? So let me click back on Batman, put it on the eraser. I'll ask which one do we want. If I click Bat Scatter, it takes me back to the brush. So I guess what I'm going to have to do is this time I'm going to go to the eraser and tell it just the regular bat. But this time I'll go back and change it again. So if I tell it change the spacing to go back up and change the size jitter up and change the, hey mama, angle jitter, and the scattering, make the scattering go back up. And so now we can, right. So well, it'll just erase it. So what'll happen, or just see how it's erasing out of Batman. Again, I like it the thickest on the line, and then let it kind of get sparser as it comes in like this. And there we go. And then for some kind of a background, what you ought to do, you do something like this, just so it looks more official. And for that, you can go to, there's a website called unsplash.com, and they're copyright free. You can use them just as though you took them. People put them on there with permission, these photographs. I could just type in texture or anything, and there's real nice pictures of anything. And so let's just say we want maybe that one. That's Batmanish. Click it and get a big one, or download it for free. And we could copy it. And over here we could paste it and have a background for him. So one more quick time. Here's a man. And let me get rid of the background. Here is my name. All I need to do to make the brush is select it with the magic wand tool. If I go to select similar, it gets all those letters. There's the marching ants. I can go to edit, define brush preset, and make a brush. What do I want to name it? How about Cox? And then to use that brush, I just go up to the top, and right now it wants to do the tire tread like that. Instead, we'll tell it, no thank you. I'm going to go to the brain of the tool and then just space it out a little bit and go to the size jitter, make some bigger and some smaller, some go different directions.
Space it out all the way.
Space out a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like that.
Yeah.
And then scattering maybe just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we use it, I like to make them get more sparse when they come out. Let's try out the eraser again and see if it'll work this time. So if I click on the man's head and go to the eraser, there we go. And I may need to go back again until it one more time. Space them out.
Yeah.
And make some bigger and some smaller, and make some go different directions. And then let me just shrink it down a little bit, and we can make it so that that's what comes out of the guy's head. Let me hide this for a second. There we go. Of course, we can make it bigger again if we want to.
Yeah, that's good.
That good? Then we can add the ones that come out, and it looks pretty cool. Let's give it some kind of background. You can get that at unsplash.com. So there we go. If y'all have any questions, just email me or send me a Schoology message. And I think that's about it. You want to tell them goodbye?
Bye. Bye.